from Kern Government Television. Welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxton Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy. And our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Thank you, and welcome to the Tuesday, June 25th, 2024 PM session of the Board of Supervisors. First item is roll call.
Supervisor Peters?
Here.
Supervisor Scrivener? Supervisor Flores?
Here.
Supervisor Couch?
Here.
Supervisor Perez?
Here.
Thank you. The next item is a report on actions taken in closed session. Ms. Rezon.
Good afternoon. This morning you had 3 items on your closed session agenda, items 70, 71, and 72. You heard all 3 of them. There's nothing to report out regarding items 70 and 72, and item 71 is continued until after your PM session today.
Thank you. Next item is the consent agenda. All items listed with a C or a CA above the item number considered to be routine and non-controversial. I would stumble over that. Non-controversial by county staff. We can act on those all in one motion. This is the time if anybody here has a comment on any of the items on the consent agenda, and let me tell you what those are. In fact, we have a change to one of the recommended actions. It starts, the consent agenda that is, starts on page 3 of the afternoon agenda, which includes item 4. On to page 4, which includes items 5 and 6. Page 5, items 7 through 9. Thank you, Kathy. Page 6, items 10 through 12. Page 7, items 13 through 15. Page 8, items 16 through 21. And let me stop right there and say the note you just gave me says that items 15 and 16 have been withdrawn from the agenda and will not be heard today. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. On to item 7, or excuse me, page 7, items 22 and 23. On to page 10, items 28 through 34. There is a change to the recommended action in item 28. The recommended action is that which appears in all capital letters, and you can strike all of that, and the new recommended action is to continue to Tuesday, July 16th at 2 p.m. On to page 11, items 34 through 42, but item 36 has been withdrawn by the department and will not be considered today, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that is the entirety of the consent agenda. Is there anybody here that would like to make a comment or ask a question about any of the items on the consent agenda? Are there others besides Mr. Knipp? Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Gordon Knipp, Vice Chair of the local Sierra Club chapter. On consent agenda items 5 and 7, the issue is the same on both of these. Unfortunately, the county is not requiring any new environmental review for these projects. Under the pretense of CEQA guidelines, section 15183, the county is deferring its CEQA obligation back to the old, outdated Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan and EIR. The use of section 15183 is misguided for several reasons. First of all, section 15183 is only applicable to projects which are consistent with existing zoning or an existing general plan. In these cases, in the cases of these 2 projects, the Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan. These projects will change the Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan via a general plan amendment. and they will change the existing zoning. They're clearly not consistent with existing zoning and with the existing general plan if you have to change them in order to approve the project. Section 15183 is just non-applicable. Another point here, environmental review via CEQA is important. For example, our community has arguably the dirtiest air in the nation. Then for these projects, both of these projects, they're in an area which is in the 99th percentile, according to Cal Enviro Screen, for PM 2.5 pollution, and in the high 90s percentile for ozone pollution. New projects like these, while they may be good projects, should not be allowed to make our air dirtier. We should be doing some environmental review and figuring out how to address that and other issues in addition to air pollution. The Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan, of course, is so outdated that it doesn't meaningfully discuss or analyze greenhouse gas emissions or climate change. The plan should be updated. Well, given that, we suggest that you refer these projects back to staff so that they can do some environmental review on these projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knipp. Are there any other comments about the consent agenda? Yes, sir.
Good evening to the Supervisors Board. My name is Refugio Valencia, and I come from the Center of Rights, Poverty, and the Environment. My comment is related with the West Side project.
I'm sorry. I didn't catch that.
With the West Side project, is
West Side Industrial Project, item 3.
yes.
Okay. When we're on the consent agenda. Item 3 is not on the consent agenda. We're gonna hear that separately. So when I call that item number, that's when you're gonna come up and make your comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Any other comments or questions? Ms. Oviatt, we had a comment about 2 of your items. I think it was items 5 and 7. There were a few comments Mr. Knipp made. One, I think he started with the use of section 15183. Please.
Chairman Couch, members of the board, the use of a legally valid general plan is allowed. The Kern County Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan was not sued. It has never been set aside and is totally valid. I would like to note that item 7 is a residential project, and therefore there are streamlining provisions by the state of California to encourage CEQA streamlining in regards to residential. So first, item 7 is a residential designation that we are changing to high-density residential, and we believe that is totally appropriate. Regarding section number 5, we stand behind our exemption. We ask that your board take action today.
Can I ask a question about that? Because the comment was made that you can't change the general plan or zoning and then be consistent with the general plan. So my question to you is, could you change the general plan designation and zoning and still be consistent with the policies of the general plan?
Yes, Chairman Couch, the issue is to be consistent. If you could never be consistent, then you can never change the general plan. That is not state law. So we are consistent with the policies. We believe that this is a small change on 6.76 acres. It's along Highway 99 and Taft Highway, and we believe that item number 5 is consistent. We believe that item number 7 is important for moving forward our housing element and moving forward our commitments that the state has placed on us to do higher density residential. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Supervisor.
I'm sorry. Yes. Ms.
Supervisor
Martinez.
Couch, I'm sorry to interrupt. The community member was just speaking to me in Spanish, and his comment is related to item 5 on the consent agenda. I would happy to translate if you wish
Okay.
for me to do it.
Please do. I apologize. I thought you said item 3. So you're talking about an item that is on our consent agenda.
Yeah, my comment is related with 3 and 5, but
3 and 5.
yeah, my comment is related with the website project, number
Señor.
3 and number 5.
Señor, en este momento nada más haga sus comentarios sobre el número 5.
Okay.
Did you just say you need to confine his comments to item 5?
Correct.
Okay,
Okay, let me read my note.
thank you.
Okay, the website industrial project is part of the dangerous expansion of warehouses and Kern country that ignore the deadly impacts of warehouses project and threat on community health. This year, the American Lung Association found that the city of Bakersfield has the worst particulate matter pollution in the country, and that air quality has been getting worse since 2019. The Westside project is already located in a neighborhood that has worse air pollution than 94% of California. Despite acknowledging that the pollution caused by this project can lead to lung and heart diseases, asthma, cancer, and premature birth and death, the county still wants to approve a project that will add at least 4,000 more diesel trucks per day to our communities, including the AB 617 communities of Arvin and Lamont, which are 6 miles away, and 3 elementary schools less than 3 miles away. The impacts from this project on our air, climate, and water, particularly in environmental justice communities, makes it consistent with our vision for a healthier and more just country. Even assuming this project brings the number of jobs it promises, without requirement that those jobs are union and hired locally, those benefits will not be seen by our communities. All the supervisors, we need to review this project, because in the San Bernardino city, these are happening now. They have this a lot of big warehouses, and these produce big semi-traffic. And we know that the diesel particulars is very dangerous to the health. So I know that you guys are working to improve the county economy, but maybe we can see another ways to improve this economy. Or we can see this project development, but far out the communities. It's just to prevent more pollution in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments on the consent agenda? Ms. Oviatt, do you feel any need to respond? Okay. So I will return that to the board for questions or comments or action on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve consent agenda. Second.
Mr. Chairman, we're going to do a roll call vote since our voting system, our electronic voting system is not working properly. So Supervisor Peters,
Aye.
Supervisor Flores,
Yes.
Supervisor Couch,
Yes.
Supervisor Perez.
Yes.
The motion
Refugio,
is approved, 4 ayes, 1
Sorry.
absent, Supervisor Scribner.
before you leave, can you check in with my office upstairs? Yes. Thank you. And leave your phone number. Okay, that takes us back to top of page 2, under public presentations, this portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any item not on the agenda but under the jurisdiction of the board. Try to keep our comments to 2 minutes. Is there anyone here that would like to make a public presentation? Please come down. Those of you that, how many of you would like to make a public presentation about an item that's not on the agenda? Let me get you, come down to the front row so we can get you to the microphone quickly. Come on down. Good morning, or good afternoon, sorry.
Hi, my name is Lisa Smith, and I'm with Mr. Flores' district. I thought I had 3 minutes, and so I apologize, I'm going to be stuttering. I've already contacted Supervisor Flores' office about this issue, and thank you for agreeing to take a look at it. I live at the boundary of a city-county island, as Mr. Flores is aware of, and was shocked to find out what happened to my friend Stephanie Gatlin, who's a teacher at Kern High School District and working this summer. When she got out of her car at a place where she stopped to get breakfast on Stockdale and New Stein, she saw what appeared to be a homeless woman dressed in white ranting in the parking lot. She walked around the woman, got her breakfast, and then went back outside where the woman was between Stephanie and her car, turned to face her and yelled, and I kill you, bitch. The woman then raised a gun to Stephanie's head and pulled the trigger. The gun clicked but did not fire, and she lived. Stephanie says that BPD informed her that behavioral health has moved into the parking lot in the same building as county probation, and they are dispensing psychiatric medication from that location. If it's true, and I have verified that they're in fact in the same building, we have a mental health facility dispensing drugs in the same building that is serving known and convicted criminals, which just happens to be in the same shopping center parking lot as a recycle center and a new smoke shop. Within 2 more blocks are 4 other mental health facilities. At one point, we had 3 smoke shops within 500 feet of each other on Stockdale and McDonald. This kind of business activity that's happening because we're crunched between city and county cannot keep happening. We cannot keep getting these businesses dumped on us. I don't know how to do it, but it was done 35 years ago through the Bakersfield Oil Code when city and county cooperated to locate drilling operations away from residents before issuing licenses. I'd like to get a formal notification and approval system in place for businesses located within certain distance of city-county boundaries. Since we have up to 22 county islands in Metro Bakersfield, this seems to me to be prudent. Although I counted and only counted 13, this affects the entire county. I would like to see work with the city on an ordinance to distance and limit the location of high-risk or these types of businesses. Like Stephanie Gatlin deserved to buy breakfast and work and go home to her family, we all deserve to live without fear, and you need to help us.
Ms. Smith? Great, you brought your comments to a close right, a little late, but I was going to ask.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I was going to ask you if you had anything in writing that you could give to the clerk that we will definitely take this up.
I do.
But I wanted to.
The full statement I had planned to make is here. You're welcome to have it if
Can
anybody wants.
Can you leave it for us? We'll
Sure.
get copies of it.
These
Thank
are
you.
packets of Ms. Gatlin's Facebook posting of what occurred with her and the map showing what these high-risk businesses are around our home. They're all within 3 blocks of Stockdale and New Stein.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other public comments today?
Good afternoon.
Hi.
My name is Yolanda Heyman, and I'm here on behalf of the coach operators at Golden Empire Transit. I have a statement here that the employees wanted me to read because they wanted it to be public. So if I could begin.
Yes, please.
We are employees of the Golden Empire Transit District, and I am here to make you aware of the recent firing of our CEO, Michael Tree. Michael Tree was awarded Transit Manager of the Year by both the California Transit Association and the American Public Transit Association, and is highly respected for his achievements at other transit systems. He was hired by the GET Board, and in just a 4-month period, negotiated a new contract, raised morale to a high level, and presented a vision for service that was cost-effective and efficient. Unfortunately, the GET Board, including the 2 county representatives appointed by you, hastily held a special meeting on June 17th and delivered him a letter of termination the next morning, escorting him off the property. I believe that it's important that you be aware of this type of conduct being displayed by your county representatives on the GET Board. Employees and bus riders are extremely concerned by this type of behavior by a board that is clearly out of touch with its employees and riders. As our county supervisors, these appointees are representing you, your interest, and the county's overall plans. You should be very concerned to have appointees who continue to endorse outrageous expenditures of public funds, such as on-demand service, which costs $52 per ride. It would be difficult to believe that you think this is in the best interests of our county and the citizens you represent. Mr. Tree offered much better alternatives that were rejected by your appointees. Furthermore, the bus riders want the route system returned that was operating before 2012, a system that offered less walking distance and more accessibility. This also continues to be ignored by the current board. That system attracted thousands of more riders than the current system.
Ms. Hammond? Is it Hammond or Haywood?
Heyman.
Hammond. We try to keep our comments to 2 minutes. So could I ask you to come bring them to a close?
Okay.
You can give us a copy of that, and it'll get distributed to all of us.
Okay. Let me go down. The GET Board needs to have members that actually use the system, know its needs, and most importantly, are dedicated to what the riders want. We just want, I think the biggest thing here is that we want to know that the Board of Supervisors cares to direct your appointees to the good of where we work, Golden Empire Transit.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Flores?
Ms. Heyman, can I ask you a quick question real quick?
Yes.
You made reference to, just for the public's benefit, there are 2 appointments from the county, there are 2 appointments from the city to the GET Board, which is a special district, and then the 4 appointees pick a 5th director. But you made reference to the county side. What were you referencing in terms of votes?
Well, because they voted to terminate our CEO.
Oh, okay. Okay, so, well, thank you for coming. Thank you for your concerns. There was an incorrect reporting of this online with the paper in 17. For the record, my appointee, which is a county appointee, abstained from that vote and did not vote to fire the current director. You raise a number of good questions. I have similar questions in terms of the direction, in terms of what has transpired. And so rest assured that we're not done. And I want to get to the bottom of what happened because the public's only been told that he's been removed. We don't have a rationale. We don't know why. And so there's good questions that you're bringing up. And so our commitment from the county ledger, not the city side, because the city's appointees voted to terminate, is having a public transit system that serves our taxpayers, that's being well-run, well-managed. And so we're going to keep in line with that mission and hopefully get some answers for you and better serve you and work towards a solution, okay?
Can I ask you who the 2 members are that the county appoints?
The county appointees are Charlie, his last name is Dutch. It's Vandervood, and then Kathy Abernathy are the county appointees.
And one of them did not vote?
Kathy abstained. She did not vote to terminate.
Okay, and also just in case you're interested, tonight at 4:30, we will be having a very important GET Board meeting. If any of you'd like to attend, we're going to have quite a turnout there.
We will probably still be here.
We'll still be in session, but thank you.
Well, can I say
Yes.
something?
Yes,
Chairman?
certainly.
Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, my office has been involved with the workforce at GET for the better part of the decade because of the previous challenges that have gone on for years. And it was one of those institutions where I came to believe quite cynically that they were never really going to get along and that it was going to remain tensions and remain problematic, and that really was so bothersome, so troubling on so many levels because of what I felt the attitude towards the workforce was from your previous management. I'm just going to be honest about it. I thought it was, negative and unfortunate and toxic, and there wasn't a whole lot that could be done about it, and we tried. So when Mr. Tree came in, and I felt for the first time such a profound transition, I mean, really, my heart leapt for joy, I have to be honest, because I thought, finally, after the last decade of some really just nasty, toxic environment from people who, do such important work for this community. For me personally, it was very problematic. So when I saw this happen, I mean, it was one of the most comforting moments I've experienced in Kern County to think, yes, there's struggle. Yes, a weeping endures for the night, right? But joy comes, this felt like a joy comes in the morning moment for me, and I mean it. And so when I heard about what happened, I felt devastated by it. And I've been working with some folks that are associated. We were gonna be meeting this week. I found out another meeting has been called. And so, we are totally invested, the 5th District, in your institution, in your people. I love your people. I've spent a lot of time with them. They are really special Kern County people. And I hope that we can resolve this quickly and in a way that, it just helps us get back to doing the important work that you're doing. And I just want to thank you. I still have a community out of water for 4 days now, so I'm going to be rushing there as soon as I finish here, so I'm so sorry that I cannot attend. But please know that I am working with people in your institution. If you can contact us and let us know, the updates and how we can be helpful, or just engage us so we can get involved. We're really excited to do so, and I'm just so sad about this, watching the evolution of it and feeling like we had gotten to a good point.
Well, and we're working really hard to turn it around, because I can stand here before you today and let you know that we're not going to give up. We're going to fight for this man that we believe
Very good.
is a good leadership for
you.
us.
Good. Fight for what you believe in.
Yes,
You know what's right for you.
yes.
Thank you. We're with you, whatever we can do. I really believe in your process and what you're doing, and it's important, I promise you. So thank you for being here, and we're with you. I have to head back to that community. It's a real crisis.
I understand.
But we're with you.
All right, thank you all very much.
And thank you, Supervisor Perez, for those comments, which I agree with your sentiments.
Are we still on item 1, public presentations? Okay. Any other public presentations this afternoon? Can I get you guys to come to the front row so we can get you up quickly? Thank you. That'd be great.
Thank you. My name is Tammy Carney, and I'm one of the drivers at GET.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Tammy Carney?
Carling?
Carney, C-A-R-N-E-Y, Carney.
Thank you.
So I'm reading what was given to me like 5 minutes ago, but anyways. So we, the drivers at GET, are writing to express our deepest disappointment and sadness upon learning the decision to let go our CEO, Michael Tree. This news has come as a devastating blow to all of us, and we are struggling to come to terms with the loss of a leader who became integral in our lives. Michael Tree was more than just a CEO to us. He was a mentor, a friend, a companion of our cause. During his tenure, he worked tirelessly to improve our working conditions, increase our benefits, enhance our overall well-being. His door was always open, and he listened to our concerns and our empathy and understanding. Under his leadership, we felt valued, respected, and appreciated. He had a unique ability to connect with us, and his passion for our success was evident in everything he did. His legacy will be deeply missed, and we cannot imagine GET without him at our helm. We kindly request that you share the reason behind the decision, as it has left us feeling shocked, saddened, and concerned about the future of our organization. We hope that you will provide us with the clarity that we need to move forward. On behalf of all the drivers, we thank Michael Tree for his unwavering dedication, support, and friendship. We will always be grateful for the impact he had on our lives and our profession. On behalf of all of GET drivers. And I have papers.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Carney, sorry, Chairman, again, this decision is not coming from our board here, and we're waiting for that same clarity from the GET board. So I share your frustration, and I want that clarity as well, so thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Hi, my name is Rudy Gonzalez. It's been a while since I had the privilege of standing behind this pulpit and presenting. I've been given credit for our reentry programs, initial PTSD, post-metric, pre-metric, hydrometric, aromatherapy treatment that have been indoctrinated now but for our VA. I've also been given credit for 65% of our socioeconomic development for our homeless collaborative, there, as seen on KGOV TV. Recently, as soon as 2021, an executive order went out by President in terms of Mr. Biden, in terms of identifying a interconnection post of internet. I've been given credit, and my FCC number stands at 202-418-1122. You can contact the FCC. I had given Mr. Couch and Ms. Perez, chairwoman at the time, my access code. The reason I'm mentioning this is the interconnection post now is used worldwide. I brought some information of taxation of intellectual property by Mr. Michael Schaff and the benefits of taxing services. We don't have to tax these services if you don't like. One of the things I've noticed, though, is a lot of the problems we're having with some of our IT systems. Our GetBus does run off of Wi-Fi, and it has private with on-demand. Some of our C representation of identification hinges on that. District 2 Supervisor, Mr. Scrivener, is where we developed the process. It's very, very well spread, and the reason why the project was invented was so is that we can stop CGI and RBD, false information, being hung off power lines. It went so far and so well represented in terms I'm very grateful. So my push today is to go ahead and tax my services, if you would. I've been offered Nevada, Las Vegas. They're willing to do everything except give me the Raiders, pretty much, if I get over there. In closing, I left an eco watch for our solar. I noticed that our biggest concern is our solar as far as identification and things of that nature. So I'm going to pass my papers along. I'll be in contact.
Please, thank you.
I thank you.
Who is our next speaker?
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention AT&T, Luana, IBW, they all have a huge impact on the development of the interconnection posts.
Please proceed, sir.
Yeah, my name is Doug Kaiser, and I live and farm outside on Bear Mountain Boulevard. And are you guys aware of a landfill out there?
Is it,
Anybody aware of that?
is it near, well, you tell me, is it right off of 99 on the west side?
Yes.
It's not a permitted landfill, but I've heard about some activities there. Is that I don't know that we're talking about the same one.
Yeah, same one.
Near Mettler?
Pardon?
Near Mettler?
No, right on 223, Bear Mountain Boulevard.
Then I'm not aware.
Okay, there's a big reservoir there they took out when they built a freeway, the state, and they dug that big hole there. It's about 30 acres, and they're dumping. I went to code enforcement, but there's nothing getting done. It's a landfill.
Can you see this lady that's going to be waving at you here in just a second? Can you give your contact information and phone, your name and contact information to her, and we'll make sure that somebody gets a hold of you.
Okay.
Thank you. Any others? All right, see, it looks like someone's trying to get up in the back. We're going to move on. Okay, I don't see any other public speakers, so we'll go on to item 2, which is board member announcements and reports. Seeing none, we'll go to item 3, which is under the Planning and Natural Resources Department. It is a request of West Side Industrial Project by Mike, correct me when I say this wrong, Ms. Obiat. Is it Seafried or Seafried Industrial Properties to amend the land use element of the Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan and to change the various zone classifications from intensive agriculture to light industrial and authorize the construction and operation of a 653,442 square foot single-story warehouse and distribution facility and related on and off-site improvements included on an on-site concrete batch plant, including an on-site concrete batch plant on a 93.74 acre portion of the 642 acre parcel located at the southwest corner of Houghton Road and Wyville Road, approximately 1 mile west of State Route 99 in the southern Bakersfield area. Ms. Oviatt.
Chairman Couch and members of the board, I'm here today with Craig Murphy, Assistant Director. This is the proposed West Side Industrial Project and includes the construction and operation of a 653,442 square foot warehouse called an inbound cross-dock center on approximately 93.74 acres. As you note, it is at the southeast corner of Houghton Road and Wyville Road, just over a mile south of metropolitan Bakersfield. This is an Amazon facility that accepts freight from vendors and distributes product to various fulfillment centers. They do not ship customer orders from this type of facility. I would like to note that today is one of the 4 times during the year that we can make amendments to the general plan. So this is a general plan amendment hearing today. As shown in this aerial, it's a portion of an existing 646 acre parcel that's currently zoned A, exclusive agriculture. The underlying map code is RIA, which is Resource Intensive Ag with the Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan. I'd like to note that the remainder of the parcel is not being changed. Only the 93.74 acres that are the subject of this environmental impact report. The overall site is currently utilized for a mix of agricultural uses. Land use surrounding the area is predominantly agriculture, as well as cultivated with row crops and orchards. There are a few rural residential on home site parcels west of the site across Wyville Road. The next nearest residences are a cluster of rural homes a half-mile east of the site across South H Street. The actions specifically before your board today are listed on page 4 of the staff report. Just to re-summarize, a general plan amendment from map code agriculture to light industrial, a zone change from exclusive agriculture to M1 PD, which is light industrial, our lowest industrial use, an exclusion from the ag preserve of 93.74 acres, which is required when you change the zoning from agriculture, a precise development plan with specific conditions for the proposed distribution facility and related improvements, 2 conditional use permits, 1 to allow the construction and operation of a permanent on-site wastewater treatment facility, and the second to allow for the operation of a temporary concrete batch plant during construction. With approval, the project proponent would construct and operate this inbound cross-dock center and ship to fulfillment centers within the network. As a reminder, Amazon would own these fulfillment centers, and at present we only have 1 fulfillment center in Bakersfield and the rest of these fulfillment centers, and then 1 in Shafter. Other than that, these are outside the county, and these trucks would be utilizing freeways. A detailed summary of the project characteristics is provided on page 5 through 9 of the staff report, and a project description is provided in chapter 3 of the environmental impact report. Construction would employ approximately 100 workers during the 16-month construction period, and once operational, it would operate 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and day and night shifts. It would employ upward of 1,830 employees during peak season, split into 2 shifts, and that would be reduced to 1,464 employees in non-peak season. There is a mitigation measure requiring efforts to hire 50% of its workforce locally, which your board is familiar with. That mitigation measure requires that the applicant connect with employers, trainees, resource, and other sources of employment, that they do local job fairs, and on other projects, we have exceeded 80% local hire through these efforts. The implementation of the project with the precise development plan and related conditional use permits contains 65 distinct recommended conditions of approval. A draft and final environmental impact report was prepared for this project in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, guidelines. Page 10 through 22 of your staff report details that review process. Your board and the public have received all notices and documents for this EIR, including the notice of preparation, the draft EIR, which was circulated for 45 days, and Chapter 7 response to comments. All documents and volumes of the EIR have been posted on our website, submitted to the county clerk and the state clearinghouse as required by law. The final EIR contains 86 mitigation measures. These are additional mitigation measures to the conditions to reduce project and cumulative impacts associated with this project to the greatest extent feasible. After all feasible and reasonable mitigation is imposed, it still remains significant and unavoidable for aesthetics, loss of agricultural land, air quality, greenhouse gases, hydrology, and utilities and service systems. And these determinations are shown on Table 6 on page 13-16 of your staff report. 3 alternatives were analyzed: a no project, a reduced project, and an alternative location. During the course of processing this request, a notice of public hearing was sent to affected agencies, county departments, and property owners within 1,000 feet. All comments received have been provided to your board, either in the staff report or the addendum staff report that was delivered today. Specific project concerns include conversion of ag land, distance of project to a PG&E gas line, potential increases in noise and traffic, consideration of alternative sites, recommendations for additional project designs to reduce air pollution and mitigate greenhouse gases, impacts on biological resources, and cumulative impacts, growth inducement, and project need. I'd like to highlight 3 of the main commenters. The first is the Golden State Environmental Justice Alliance, who is based in Los Angeles, California. The Advocates for the Environment, which is based in the city of Los Angeles, California, and the local chapter of the Sierra Club. We've provided full written responses to comments in Chapter 7, response to comments, and all of those comments have been considered in our recommendations. The Planning Commission met on May 23rd, 2024 to consider the project. Concerns were raised about the PG&E gas line near the area, and after an analysis, we have concluded the project is unlikely to interfere. However, there are a number of conditions of approval and mitigations for appropriate coordination for safety during construction and operations, and those have been reviewed by the Kern County Fire Department. Commission took testimony, reviewed comments in response from the Sierra Club, and voted 4-0 with Commissioner Nance recused to recommend approval of the project to your board. So I'd like to provide some clarifications for the record for the recommendations and response to comments, including ones that you will hear today. First, the staff report appears to show changes to mitigation measure 4.6-1 that were considered by the Planning Commission. Actually, those were changes recommended by staff after the Planning Commission. I apologize that this is on yellow paper. If you could zoom out, Mr. Murphy. After the Planning Commission decision, based on comments raised by the Sierra Club and a review of the Attorney General's recommendations for logistics and warehousing, which we've been using as a guidance on our projects. In these changes, which are before your board today, the recommendations takes away any discretion of the applicant to comply with these and requires the following: installation of solar on the roof within 1 year of operation, incorporation of additional building measures to reduce energy use by at least 10% and up to 25% less than Title 24, solar for non-industrial water heating. Commercial building will be designed to LEEDs, which is Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design Certification. The roofs on all the buildings will have a light color to reduce heat generation. Paving alternatives to reduce initial solar reflection are included to be considered for use in the parking lots. However, paving needs to have a structural section that will withstand the heaviness of the trucks. 20% of the employee parking stalls are to be covered, and if feasible, solar added to them. LED lighting on indoor, exterior, public streets and site lighting. Electric forklifts and other material handling as feasible for operations. Bike-friendly features, on-site bike lanes, bike racks, and bike lockers. And where feasible, design operations to incorporate the usage of high-efficiency electric motors for industrial uses. These changes are consistent with the impacts of the project in combination with this mitigation and the required 4.3-5, which requires a developer mitigation agreement with the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District, which will reduce the project's criteria air emissions to no net increase. The project will provide all feasible and reasonable mitigation as a mandated requirement of the project to address air quality and greenhouse gassing. Since the Planning Commission hearing, the Sierra Club has submitted additional comments that re-emphasize the loss of ag land and request net zero standards. Staff has appropriately addressed the issues raised by the Sierra Club, including changes to the greenhouse gas mitigation 4.6-1 to make requirements mandatory, not optional. However, the letters continue in short to say, do more. CEQA does not give a blank check to decision makers to impose requirements on projects, simply to implement aspirational state goals on climate change, no matter how necessary and urgent matters the public thinks they are. As noted in the staff report on pages 20 to 22, mitigation is constrained by the U.S. Supreme Court decisions on the constitutional limits on the extent of mitigation that can be imposed on a project. There must be a nexus, a connection, between the project's impact and the resulting condition, and it must be roughly proportional in scope and cost to that impact. This standard is routinely applied to mitigation by county staff on a variety of topics, including traffic improvements. For example, the requirement for a 2-to-1 agricultural mitigation, and that it be exclusively in Kern County, has no evidence in the record for a direct connection to increase the amount over a 1-to-1 replacement. And there's no evidence sufficient land can be found in Kern County that's agricultural, that can actually have water for the 99 years. That's not already protected. The entire Central Valley is the appropriate regional geographic boundary to find like land. The requirement for net zero conditions also fails, as there's no evidence that staff can find that such a standard can be met. Comment letters that reference private settlements where developers accept such standard are referring to residential and commercial projects and not an inbound cross-dock center that is before your board today. Until the truck transportation sector moves from fossil fuels to other forms of fuel or is fully electric, a net zero requirement goes beyond feasible and reasonable mitigation and cannot legally be required by your board. There are no planning policies that your board has adopted for net zero or any sort of standards beyond the ones that we have applied. I'd also like to note the Golden State Environmental Justice Alliance continues to insist that CEQA requires an environmental justice analysis. It does not. However, inside our policies in the Metro Bakersfield General Plan and the Kern County General Plan, your board has directed that we carefully look at the locations of these kinds of industries and make sure they are appropriately mitigated. This project is 6 miles from Arvin and Lamont, but CEQA requires that I cannot put it 30 miles from where people need to drive. That's called vehicle miles traveled. So your board is also under a mandate from SB 375 to reduce greenhouse gases by putting jobs closer to communities. And in this case, we believe that 6 miles is an appropriate distance. Once again, this is an Amazon facility. There are no fulfillment centers in Arvin, Lamont, and therefore there would be no truck traffic that would affect those communities. Those trucks would be using I-99 connecting to I-5 to going to other areas in the Central Valley, such as Fresno or Los Angeles. The Golden State Environmental Justice Alliance takes issue in detail with our general plan conformity and makes interpretations that are inaccurate. Staff does not believe that we need to respond to all of those. Every single one of them ignores the mitigation that has been placed and recommended on this project that makes it consistent. I would like to highlight 2 issues, however. One of the issues that's been raised repeatedly is a policy in the Metro General Plan that asked if there's a need for the project. On page 22 of the staff report, I highlight that the most recent unemployment rate in Kern County is 10.20%. And that is in comparison to California's unemployment rate of 5.3% and the national rate of 3.9%. Pressures on agricultural employment due to regulatory and water limitations in energy, specifically oil and gas activities, continue to depress the job market in Kern County. This 10.2% unemployment rate persists in spite of the thousands of jobs being created in large-scale commercial construction in both the valley and the desert regions of unincorporated Kern County. We believe that this appropriately sited and conditioned facility is part of your adopted economic development cluster, and there's no evidence that Kern County has overbuilt warehousing and that a consideration of no need should be made. I'd like to address the last issue that was raised, which is a reference to warehousing in the city of San Bernardino. We agree, staff agrees, that the way that warehousing has been done in Ontario and the city of San Bernardino is inappropriate. It would be analogous to placing this in the middle of a highly dense residential neighborhood, which is not what we are doing here. And San Bernardino does not have an indirect source rule, which the board has, the San Joaquin Air District has, and does no further air mitigation down to no net increase. So we believe that comparisons of this location and this project to Southern California standards is not appropriate, and we have certainly learned from looking at the mistakes that have been made in these other jurisdictions. After reviewing this project in its entirety, staff notes the following to support a recommendation of approval. I'd like to address what you're going to hear, that this is an area, and if Mr. Murphy could put up this aerial, that this is an area that's premature. The Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan was adopted separately and jointly, prepared by the county and the city in 1990, and it established the 409 square mile. We have another aerial that shows the city. That established a 409 square mile Metropolitan Bakersfield planning area. This is where the city of Bakersfield is expected to grow starting in 1990, and the county agreed. It's bounded by 7th Standard Road, Panama Lane, and Enos Lane, and it was determined to be the future for this major city, which is now the 10th largest in California. Agricultural uses were determined in 1990 to be an interim use that could continue as long as they decided they were economically viable. Over the last 35 years, agricultural use property owners have made decisions based on water trends, water limitations, and property values in this urbanizing area and retired agricultural land uses. Since 2014, they have actually made decisions that the water that they use in Metro Bakersfield agricultural land needs to be moved to land past Enos Lane because of limitations on how much water they're allowed to use. And so that has accelerated the retirement of agricultural land. The focus of Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan is to conserve the future population of an urbanized city of Bakersfield and not to conserve agricultural land. The remaining Central Valley and Eastern Kern areas of the county continue to support agricultural land use when provided with water. As I noted, the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act mandates significant reductions in agricultural water that has forced farmland to be taken out of production. While the existing 93.74 acres is being farmed today, it is considered a temporary use until the full impact of SGMA is implemented. And the proposed project would utilize that same acreage of eminently non-productive ag land to instead develop a sustainably designed facility that would have drastically reduced water demand while helping meet increasing logistics demand that are actually coming from Southern California. We have incorporated in the project design landscaping and screening of trees and considerations to ensure that the trucks are not backed up to even close to those homes that are half a mile away, and that only employee cars and light trucks will be parked there, and that there would be screening trees and landscaping that would buffer the noise and potential impacts. The final project recommendation contains 86 mitigation measures and 65 distinct conditions of approval, for a total of 151 conditions the project must implement. As required by CEQA, there is a findings of fact 15091 and statement of overriding considerations 15093 necessary for our recommendation that the benefits of this project outweigh the remaining significant and unavoidable impacts after all feasible. The proposed project is expected to provide a net fiscal benefit of contributing $4.1 million in construction-related sales tax revenue, as well as an estimated $1.7 million in annual property taxes. The project would provide up to 100 jobs during peak construction, and when fully operational, over 1,800 new employees during peak season. The project would improve 5.54 acres of project frontage along Houghton Road and Weibel Road. This is an underutilized off-ramp on 99, and at some point, this project area was going to be utilized. They will install additional road improvements, including a traffic signal east of the site at Houghton Road and Union Avenue. The proposed project includes a variety of incentives and support for alternative modes of transportation, including carpooling, public transit use. This project is a natural progression of growth planned 35 years ago in the Metro Bakersfield General Plan. As you can see from the previous aerial, the city of Bakersfield is only, Mr. Murphy can point, is only a few miles away. This is a logical progression. This is a freeway off-ramp. And this is a significant new area, and it is not premature. It has taken 35 years. Additional information for your consideration in response to the comments that you're going to hear. Staff has provided Amazon's current sustainability report, which is from 2023, which provides details on the company's climate pledge, their commitment to achieve net zero carbon emissions across their business by 2040, and the progress on those goals. Based on the whole of the record, staff has appropriately conditioned this project, submitted a legally sufficient final EIR, and recommends approval of the project. Staff is prepared when appropriate to read the entire recommendation. This completes my presentation, and I'm available for questions when appropriate. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions by the board before we open it up?
Just one question.
Supervisor Flores.
Thank you, Chairman Couch. Lorelei, you mentioned $4.1 million in initial construction sales tax, but I missed the annual tax contribution number. What was that?
Thank you, Supervisor Flores, through the chair. It is $1.7 million in annual property taxes.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay, we'll open it up for the applicant. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You can hear me?
Yes.
My name is Scott Irwin. I work with Seafried Industrial Properties. We're based in Atlanta. We are a national firm. I've worked on several of these projects, as our company has throughout the country. I would like to start by just thanking Lorelei, Craig, and her entire staff for all the hard work. We had actually started working on this project in 2021, and are here today, 4 years later. So we had some ebbs and flows and everything. So appreciate her patience, hard work. As you can see, she is very passionate and is implemented a lot of these features and really kind of hammered us on a lot of these measures. I think the one she did not really elaborate is we will go and do ag mitigation on a 1-to-1. I believe that's a requirement now that we're forced to do. We will be doing 200 of the 1,000 parking stalls. 200 of those will be EV stalls, ready to go day one. We will have solar on the roof. All the kind of green features we'll be doing. We try to design these things to be above and beyond. We're all in this together. We're trying to work and create jobs at the same time. Maintaining quality, sustainable projects is something I personally have a lot of passion for, and something that is top on our mind as we go through these. So want to thank staff. I'm available for any questions. We think it's a great project, and we honed in, spent a lot of time trying to figure out why we selected this site, primarily due to labor in the surrounding areas that are well suited for this. So we're excited. Again, available for any questions. I'd like to thank staff for all their hard work, and thank you again.
Thank you. So the public hearing is open, and if you would like to make a comment on this particular project or item, please come forward, state your name, and proceed. Good afternoon. You brought some guys with you.
I brought a few.
Okay.
My name is Ralph Felder. I'm here on behalf of LIUNA, Southern California District Council of
I'm
Laborers.
sorry, I didn't catch your last name.
Velador? Ralph Velador, correct.
Thank you.
But most importantly, our local members are here today. Our members depend on decisions like this very one today so we can go to work. This project will provide more local jobs and provide good paying jobs with medical benefits and pensions to local union members that will be employed while building this project. This is a responsible developer whose ideals mirror ours. They hire good union contractors that provide a well-trained union workforce that build to the highest standards. And if passed, when completed, this project will be one our entire community can be proud of. To close, we urge you that you approve this project so our members can go to work and support their families. We like to do things locally. We would have more members here, but the reason why they're here today is because this is very, very important to them. It's very important to all of us. We work here, we live here, and we want to spend our money here as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fielder. Any other comments today? Come on down.
Good afternoon. My name is Mitchell Jacobs. I'm with the local 155 Ironworkers Union, and we're here today to support this project and ask for the board's support as well. The Westside Industrial Project will bring so much to Kern County. The developers have made a commitment to local hire. This guarantees that our families will be taken care of with medical benefits and to live prosperous lives. We just ask for you to please support the community and our families with your voting yes today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs.
Mr. Jacobs, those gentlemen with you in the back?
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm always ready to say something.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, board members, staff, and council. I appreciate you hearing this item today. My name is Josh Taylor. I'm the president of Carpenters Local 743, representing over 1,000 members here in Kern County. And today I'm here to speak in strong support of Agenda Item 3, the Westside Industrial Project by Seafried Industrial Properties. The developer has committed to work with contractors that will hire locally and utilize apprentices from state-certified apprenticeship training programs. The Carpenters training programs and other accredited programs are located here in Kern County, as well as the hiring halls through which construction workers will be dispatched to work on the project. This extremely local aspect aids in the reduction of VMTs, which in turn assists in the state's greenhouse gas reduction goals. The skilled workers that will build this project through the contractors and developers are trained in efficiency, productivity, safety, and professionalism. I would like to express my support for this project as I believe that it will benefit the environment and the local economy by practicing protocols that will protect worker health and safety and incorporate adequate environmental mitigation. You've heard the concerns that have been feasibly and reasonably mitigated by your staff, and I ask this board to vote in accordance with staff recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Who's next? Good afternoon.
Hi, my name's Leanne Mello, and I represent the community members who live in the neighborhood off of Highway 99, between 99 and South H Street. We do have some concerns about the project. This will definitely change our lifestyle, our way of life. I am also a school board member for the General Shafter School, which is on the corner of Shafter Road and South H Street. We're really concerned about the wastewater treatment plant that's proposed on the site and the odors that might emanate from that. I know that Kern High purchased property on Weibel Road also recently, and we are concerned, why wouldn't a project of this size have to run sewer to it instead of having this wastewater treatment plant? I'm not a construction person, but we're worried about that. We're worried about the traffic that it's going to bring. We ride horses on canals, people go on walks. If you're having 700 trucks drive on that road daily or more, what's going to happen? Houghton Road is it's not traveled a lot already, but it's in very bad shape by the trucks that are currently on that road. There's potholes, it floods whenever there's any rain. We feel like it's a real safety concern for the people in the area. We're also concerned about crime that might come from this, trash from trucks driving, throwing stuff on the side of the road. But we would really like you to consider the project as a whole, and the issue of the wastewater treatment plant is a really big concern of ours. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Mello, was it?
Yeah, Mello.
Thank you.
Hello, members of the board. My name is John Borba, and
I also live out there, and I agree with everything she's covered. I live within the 1,000-yard perimeter, so to speak, but they're talking about. So I've been receiving material regularly. I've attended the planning meetings, submitted letters to you all about my same concerns that she has. And one thing I would add that I know those of us who were within 1,000 yards were notified, but there's people who live beyond the 1,000 yards that this is going to impact. And I wish they would have let more people know in that general area what's going to take place. So I know I'm jousting at windmills here because Mr. Bezos has very deep pockets, but for those of us who live out there, we're not a fan of this.
Thank you, Mr. Borba. Good afternoon.
Hello, my name is Laura Bedingfield. I'm also a community member. I live off of Houghton Road in 99. I know Mr. Peters knows the area very well, as his late grandfather built a house out there. So my daughter, 16 years old, 3 days ago, put together a petition and went around. She doesn't have a driver's license, so she got 66 people that live in the area to sign it. Every person that she spoke to does not want this in our community. Big concerns. Nothing was mentioned about General Shafter School in this lady's presentation. It's the only school in the school district, kindergarten to 8th grade, and it's very, very close. So concerns, has anyone in the planning department or the supervisors or the people that want to build this met with the school board to hear their concerns? How will the increased air population, the increase in noise, and the sewage plant affect the kids' health at school? Is this even environmentally safe for the kids at school? Will there be a third party continually testing our water, as we all are on our own private wells? The PG&E high pressure gas line blew up already in 2015, goes across the property. I don't know. Is there going to be any trucks that carry any kind of flammable substance that could, if something happened, make the explosion even worse? The traffic on the roads are horrible, they're narrow. Who's going to, one stoplight, what is that gonna do? On Union and Houghton, that's not even next to the off-ramp. Oh, the land that they want to do this is, from what I understand, in a California agriculture reserve. Is that even ethical to build on top of land that is designated like that? Oh, and the big thing, they notified residents within 1,000 feet of the project. We all have acreage, there's lots of acreage. I was notified, but my sister that lives right around the corner from me didn't receive anything. And then on the petition, you'll see yes or no where people were notified or they weren't. And it's crazy to see who was and the neighbor next door wasn't. Or the neighbor, there's friends on Weibel Road, Weibel and close to Bear Mountain, weren't notified, and the trucks are gonna be going by their place every single day. So I ask that this is looked into more. It's gonna have a big effect on the area. So I oppose it, and I hope that you guys look into the impact that it's gonna have in the community, because it's more than just a lot of ag land that they make it seem like. There's a lot of people that live out there. So thank you. Oh, I have copies of the petition for you guys to see.
Can you give us your last name again and spell it, please?
Bedingfield, Bedingfield.
All right, I thank you. Appreciate that.
Good afternoon. My name is Betsy Hunter Binns.
My daycare lady lives to the east of the proposed facility within the 1,000 feet limit. I live 1.5 miles to the west of the proposed facility. I do not think that this is a wise site to put this facility. I think it is, bottom line, poor planning. None of the surrounding roads are wide enough to accommodate 700 trucks in a day or in a 24-hour period, let alone 700 trucks and the surrounding farming and husbandry activities. On my way here this afternoon, I passed 4 guys on quads and 2 tractors. The roads aren't even wide enough for the tractor and me in my mom car. I think that we're not considering the unintended consequences. This is truly a rural area, and it's just not meant to accommodate this volume of truck traffic. I think that changing the zoning from ag, intensive ag, to light industrial, this is not light industrial. 700 trucks, no. You guys don't have this being proposed in your backyard. Personally, I live down the street from a dairy. Put a dairy on the 95 acres. I'd be a lot happier. That'd be a lot better environmental use for the area. And the purpose of our ag preserve is to do just that, is to preserve ag land. And leapfrogging and extending and arbitrary exclusions is just, again, poor planning. Multiple locations are more comparable to the location that has been chosen. I find it laughable, some of the mitigation measures, specifically the bicycle recommendation. There's one guy that rides a bike that goes from one truck yard to another in our neighborhood. He gets hit almost every day. I really wish you would reconsider the location for this. And I would have liked the surrounding communities and homeowners to have been notified. 1,000 feet just wasn't enough.
Thank you, Ms. Benz. Any other commenters? Afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Gomez. I am the Business Manager, Financial Secretary of the UA Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, Local 460 here in Bakersfield. And on behalf of my 900 members and the reasons stated earlier, I don't want to get into again, but definitely good reasons and keeping jobs in Kern County and families sustained here as well. On behalf of my 900 members, we strongly support this project.
Thank you, sir. If there are others of you that would like to speak, can I get you to come down, and these gentlemen in the blue shirts will move for you and make room for you. Good afternoon, Mr. Knipp.
I'm Gordon Knipp. I'm the vice chair of the local Sierra Club chapter. We've turned in several letters on this project in order to help make this a better project for the community. To this end, we want to bring up some issues having to do with some of the mitigation measures for the project. For a couple of them, the issue is that our local community may not see the benefits of the mitigation. One mitigation measure requires the developer to sign a developer mitigation agreement, a DMA, with the air district to offset the air pollution associated with the project, air pollution that will affect the health of those in the vicinity, Arvin, Lamont, Southeast Bakersfield, all of us for that matter. Already living in the dirtiest air in the nation. Unfortunately, there is no requirement that the developer mitigation agreement air pollution reduction projects actually take place here locally. The city of Stockton or somewhere else in the North Valley could benefit from the cleaner air resulting from this agreement. Bakersfield, already dreadfully dirty air, gets dirtier. Stockton's air gets cleaner. Why would you not require the clean air benefits from this developer mitigation agreement to be here where the impact is? If you as area citizens want to breathe cleaner air, you should insist on provisions that the air pollution mitigation projects be situated in the area of the impact, at the very least in the southern San Joaquin Valley. If the air district refuses to include a requirement that the air pollution reduction projects be local, then, well, maybe you should find another way to address the local air pollution from this project. I point out that Supervisor Couch is actually on the Air District Governing Board.
Yes, I am. Thank you for pointing that out.
Perhaps he could use his influence to advocate for local pollution reduction projects in the developer mitigation agreement, and for our community's health. For farmland loss, as a result of Sierra Club urgings, the county is now requiring agricultural conservation easements as mitigation for the conversion of 94 acres of farmland to urban use. But the measure specifically states that the preserved farmland can be elsewhere, maybe, for example, in Madera County or San Joaquin County. That requirement should be strengthened by compelling mitigation land to be local. It's not as if it's not possible here locally. Planning Director Oviatt recently found numerous Kern County farmers happy to place conservation easements on some of their farmland to preserve Swainson's hawk foraging habitat. There has to be a local farmer who would be pleased to get maybe $1 million retirement fund from putting conservation easements on 94 acres of his farmland and preserve some of his beloved farmland in the process. Why would you, as representatives of our community, give away these benefits of much-needed air pollution and farmland loss mitigation in Kern County to some northern county rather than here at home? Well, let me pass that on to some other Sierra Club folks to comment on some other issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nip. I'll make reference to that in a moment. Thank you.
Chairman Couch, members of the board, good afternoon. I'm Steve Montgomery, the chair of the local chapter of the Sierra Club. And I'd like to talk about a couple of climate change mitigation measures that are rather, at least as we last saw them, rather vague and unenforceable, that they have really very little practical value. Mitigation measure 4.6-1 contains a list of potential design standards for the project, many of which, if actually incorporated into the project, would be beneficial. Unfortunately, the measure only asks that these list of standards may be considered. But trying to listen to what Director Oviatt was saying, it sounds like that some of these have been considered. I have a little trouble with hearing, and I really didn't understand everything that she was saying. But our point here is that mitigation measure 4.6-1 is to have any believable impact on sustainable energy usage or on the climate crisis. It must be revised to contain performance standards that are mandatory, specifically defined, and enforceable. The county depends on mitigation measure 4.17-2 to help mitigate climate change impacts. The measure relies on transportation demand management program to reduce the project's vehicle miles traveled associated with employee trips, but it improperly defers preparation of this program until just before the permits are acquired. The EIR itself notes on page 4.8-25 that it is unclear whether the transportation demand management program would reduce project vehicle miles traveled to below thresholds. A reasonable conclusion, since it is impossible to understand the impacts of a program that has not been prepared. The transportation demand management program should be prepared prior to the project's approval and presented to the public and decision makers so that they can understand its impact. For the public and the decision makers to be able to decide on the efficacy of the measures on climate change and on the energy sector, specific requirements should be presented before the project is approved. Thank you for consideration.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Antje Lauer, L-A-U-E-R, and I'm also part of the Sierra Club. I'm actually the conservation chair, but I'm also a faculty member of CSUB. I'm a professor for biology, and I study endangered species, and I also study urban planning.
How do we spell your first name?
Antje, Antje. So I live in Bakersfield since 2007. I actually like living here. So I want to point out.
We're not surprised by that.
Yeah, but I'm actually also a community member who is concerned, and I actually want to. What I listen to from the community members who actually live in that area and their concerns, I'm fully behind that. But what I want to point out today is, like, can we put the aerial view back up there, please? Who's responsible for that?
Well, I think
The aerial view,
they're hustling to do that.
Okay, when we look at that, you see the yellow square. When we look to the right, when we look to the east, to the right where the 99 is, this is kit fox habitat. So I've studied kit foxes and I know where their prime habitat is. So we are not allowed to actually go on the site and have a look if kit fox is there. Actually, this project is supposed to be going through without a biological assessment of the animals that are there. So to address biological resource issues, I'm reading this to you, a biological survey and consultation with the US Fish and Wildlife Service and the California Department of Fish and Wildlife should be required before project approval. Kit foxes live there and they're used as habitat for hunting, for checking out a den, for finding new partners. Kit foxes are endangered since the 1960s. Now we have 2024 and the situation has not been improved. And the kit foxes are just one species of many endangered and further declining species. And having a diversity of animals and plants here in Kern County is also quality of life. We want to preserve our heritage, our natural heritage here. And this just one Amazon warehouse and another Amazon warehouse. Come on, is this quality for Kern County? When we talk about $4 million or more coming in as tax revenue, and the workers standing up to fight, to be happy to build this warehouse. Come on, if you live here with your kids in the future, is this improving Kern County? Is this improving Kern County? We know that Amazon is not a good employer. And you could maybe develop something else if you're concerned about your jobs. What about a school, another public pool where we only have one? Or other things, a public park, something that is adding adding some quality of life. But to approve this project now, before decisive current input from wildlife resource agencies received, neither the decision makers nor the public have any idea whether there are significant species and habitat issues, nor do we know what mitigation may be required. Mitigation requirements, perhaps including habitat replacement and purchase of an incidental take permit, must not be deferred until after the project is approved. This has to be investigated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Afternoon, Mr. Lane.
Good afternoon. I'm Eddie Lane. Thank you for this opportunity. I have the honor of sitting on the executive committee with our chair, Stephen Montgomery, and vice chair, Dr. Nip, and also Dr. Lauer. The points they made are all spot on, and I would urge this board to fully and carefully consider them. One thing I'm reminded of, because I'm in the older category now, is that some of us remember the air quality in the Los Angeles basin in the 1950s and 60s. Well, policy change is difficult. It's hard. But the policymakers said, this is not something we want to continue. And now the air quality in Los Angeles basin is better than it was in the 1950s and 60s. This is an opportunity to say, let's pause. Let's take a look at what's going on in terms of our air quality, which is so very important. Let's pause and take a look and plan ahead in a way that's going to benefit the children of everybody in this, and my grandchildren. And I want to say one more thing. I didn't know this was going to happen to me. In 2002 and 2003, I taught 6th grade in General Shafter School. 2 of the happiest years of my life. And listen to the local folks. Listen to the local folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. Other speakers today? You're not supposed to, but what do you have to say? See, if I let you go, then I'm gonna have to let all these other guys go too.
I mean, we all have something important
We're
to
gonna let
say.
you add.
Definitely, thank you, I appreciate it. Just on the kit foxes, they're definitely there. It's a little bit disturbing that there's gonna be no, report done to see who's there, what else is there, but the kit foxes are definitely there. We see them all the time.
Thank you. Okay, I don't see any other speakers, so we're going to close the public hearing. Before we get to the board, I want to turn to Ms. Oviatt and ask you if there are any comments that you need to make.
Thank you, Chairman Couch, members of the board. So I guess I'll start with biology. The environmental impact report that is online has a full Appendix C, a full biological assessment. The reason that we put mitigation, which is extensive on, is because of the time limit between the year and a half that it takes to do an EIR. So they do a biological assessment, we put the information in, then we put mitigation measures in to say, but before you touch the ground, before you actually move a bulldozer, you have to go out and you have to look again, and there's an extensive list. Plants, kit fox, every sort of trimber, legless lizard, everything that you can think of, and there's a whole list of those, and there's an entire biological assessment that's been done. And we have sent that to Fish and Wildlife and U.S. California Fish and Wildlife and U.S. Fish and Wildlife. They have consulted. The idea that before a project is actually approved or built, you have to get some sort of incidental take permit from them is not the way it works. They need CEQA too. So you can't go through that whole process with them ahead of this hearing. We believe that biology is extensively, and City of Bakersfield has the largest population of urban kit fox in California. So there is no place you can go in the Central Valley, in Bakersfield or Kern County, where you cannot find kit fox. And we certainly do not consider this an inappropriate way of providing the biological assessment. Second, there is some misunderstanding about the exclusion from an ag preserve. An ag preserve is not a preserve. It's an unfortunate word that was established by the state of California, in the 1980s. All an ag preserve is a requirement that we delineate areas that have zoning that is A, so that you can do a Williamson Act contract if you want. It's not a set-aside. It's not that kind of preserve. It's just a land use distinction. And so as soon as you change the zoning from A to something else, you come out of the observe. Third, the Sierra Club did not require ag conservation. The 5th District Appellate Court said that we needed to impose this, so we are imposing it, just to be clear here. We are imposing this ag mitigation because the 5th District Appellate Court said that we needed to impose ag mitigation. I appreciate the reference to the fact that your board actually has found in Kern County. That was not recent. That was many years ago. It was before Sigma. And therefore, we are concerned that limiting this to only Kern County, we have done an informal discussion. We believe it may end up in Kern County. At the request of the Sierra Club's comments, we have taken out 2 provisions that we normally put in, which we will not be using anymore. One of those provisions was that you could go to Eastern Kern, because we do have carrots and other things that are being farmed there. We took that out, and we limited it to the Central Valley. We also took out any participation in a plan that the board would put together. So there's only one way for them to mitigate these 93 acres, is to find land with an appropriate conservation group such as the Sequoia Riverlands Trust or other public trust. The board will not be holding these conservation easements. They have to be 99 years and in perpetuity. We believe we have put all of the highest standards on this ag mitigation. So, for many years, we have required developer mitigation agreements, and for many years, we have asked the San Joaquin Air District to limit it to us, and we have been told that the Clean Air Act does not allow that, that they are an entire basin, 8 counties. Therefore, they cannot say that we can only do it here. I note that if nonprofit groups and cities and groups actually proposed proposals, then all the money would go here. But what's missing is that no one is proposing the grants. Stockton's more organized, Merced is more organized. You know, the city of Arvin actually put together a proposal and got a grant. You know, the oil and gas industry has sent $148 million in air mitigation to the air district, and 25% of it we managed to get set aside, and we still have people who are not applying for those grants. So at the end of the day, it is a decision of the San Joaquin Air District. We believe that they are the appropriate people to determine whether a grant is appropriate, what's the calculation for how much of the air, for holding the money, and they are experts on this. And therefore, the answer is that community groups need to request the money. And we need to do a better job, perhaps, of asking the Air District to educate communities on how they can get this money. And that is an ongoing dialogue that I constantly have with the San Joaquin Valley Air District. So I do not recommend any change to that mitigation, or they will not accept the mitigation. Lastly, I want to bring your attention to, we did coordinate with the high school district about the proposed high school, which won't be built for 10 years. We did work out, the applicant did talk to the school board, and we did too. They were fine with the high school being there because they don't think that there's going to be an interference. We did talk to the school, and the air mitigation, the school district could apply for it, others could apply for it. At the end of the day, we did a health risk assessment. There are no impacts to the school or the communities through that health risk assessment. However, the conditional use permit 75, map 142, has a specific condition. The siting of the wastewater treatment plant is specifically done to keep it as far away from those community residences as we can. But I would like to add an amendment to that condition. So right now the condition says, siting of the wastewater treatment plant, it's supposed to be plant, not plan, within the boundaries of the approved precise development plan number 3, map 142, shall be located to the furthest extent feasible from the nearest residence. And I'd like to add, no odor shall leave the site, and it shall not be located more than 500 feet from the location specified in precise development plan number 3, map 142, at the time of this resolution's adoption, without a formal modification of the plan with a public hearing. So I'm going to add an odor limitation. This is a modern, modular wastewater treatment plant. It should not be difficult for them to control the odors to the extent that they do not leave the site. Mr. Murphy is going to check to see if the precise development plan also needs to be amended. But when you're ready, I will be making a recommendation to amend that language. Lastly, if you could put this up, please. This is a shall, not a may. These measures are a shall. They shall do these. And I don't think we need a number of how many electric forklifts they're going to put in. Either they're electric forklifts or they're not. And I think that the mitigation monitoring program is clear on how we are going to provide mitigation for this. The issues in regards to transportation demand and others. You know, these are laws that have been brought down by Sacramento that have been applied to cities, bike lanes, other sorts of things. We do the best we can to filter those mandatory requirements from Sacramento through our more rural areas and come up with solutions. So at the end of the day, the transportation demand requirements do not need to be determined now. We only need to have a plan to say that they need to figure out their ride pooling. Until they hire all these people and find out where they live, it's going to be hard to put together those types of programs. Lastly, the conditions in the mitigation measures clearly state that they are going to improve Houghton Road, and they're going to do a left turn lane on Weibel Road. There are no trucks that are going to be using local streets. There are no trucks that are going to be meandering through these neighborhoods. They will be using Houghton Road, which will be fully rebuilt, 5.45 acres of it, and they will be using the existing off-ramp. That completes the comments that I can make, and I'm available for any questions and a revised recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Perez?
Thank you, Chairman. I'll be quick. Thank you for the extremely thorough presentation to everybody who came out today. Really appreciate hearing from you. I'm excited about this project, and I think the appropriate analysis has gone into play. So I'll make a motion on staff's recommendation. Thank you.
Well, Chairman Couch is on his way back up here. I'm just going to jump in. Thanks. Thank you very much for the presentation. You answered most of the questions that I had written down. A few that I still wanted to address, though. One was the notification area of 1,000 feet, and I have no doubt that's in line with what our standards are. But I mean, for a project of this size, I understand the frustration. I mean, somebody could hit a golf ball 3,000 feet. I mean, somebody that can play golf, not me. But it just seems like a pretty small area for a project of this size. So I don't know if that's something maybe we can look at moving forward. I don't know that there's anything we can do about it now, but evaluating, maybe it's a case-by-case basis, maybe it's, you know, a certain housing density within a certain project or something like that, but that's something that I'd like to discuss moving forward. Just I think the more we get that notification out there, the more informed the community is, the better it is. Answered that one, oh, the wastewater treatment plant, I know you said about putting another condition on there. Would that be just based on reports of neighbors? Like, let's say if somebody was to detect an odor leaving the wastewater treatment plant, or would that entail some kind of periodic monitoring or something like that?
Supervisor Peters, through the chair, there is a requirement that the applicant during construction provide information on how to make dust complaints. And so we will make sure that that notification is also included during operations.
Okay.
So if they have a complaint about the operations or anything that's happening with the facility, they will know who to call.
Understood. And then lastly, as Ms. Bedingfield said, I know the area well. I used to live out there. My grandparents lived out there. And just from me reading this personally, I understand the concern with this number of vehicles out there, that even that one on-ramp, I could see traffic being backed up pretty easily on Houghton Road, and that impacting some of the communities out there. And maybe, I haven't seen the changes made to Houghton Road, or that are proposed to be made to Houghton Road, but that might be mitigating that. But
Our traffic study did not show a backup, and it was reviewed by Caltrans.
okay, not the potential for a backup?
It's an underutilized off-ramp, as you know. And
Right.
so this project is the only project right now in that area. If other projects go forward in that area, they would be required to rebuild the off-ramp or do other sorts of improvements. But there will be a left turn lane on Weibel Road, which is one of the places where there could be conflicts.
Okay. But if let's say there is a conflict down the road, let's say there is some traffic issues, is that something that, what would be the process for that? Would the constituents or the people would?
Caltrans, that belongs to Caltrans. The off-ramp belongs to Caltrans.
I understand the off-ramp does.
But Houghton Road, I mean, remember that this is a 24-hour day. It is up to the facility, and certainly the applicant does not want backups. They're trying to move their trucks. We don't believe that that's actually going to happen in the traffic.
Understood. I'm not talking about the facility at all right now.
Oh, okay.
I just mean the neighborhood itself. Let's say there were some impact at some point down the road, just for their knowledge, what would be the process? Would they file a complaint with Roads Department and then?
Yeah, they would contact the Public Works Department. In this case, because it has a variety of environmental impact reports, they would reach out to the Planning Department. We would talk to Public Works. They would go out and investigate, and perhaps it's a signage issue. It could be, you know, the road's been impacted, but that is, yes, that is the process.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I want to run through a couple of quick ones. I'm going to be somewhat blunt on a couple of these, and I mean nothing by that other than just getting to the point quickly. It does not matter to me about Mr. Bezos or his deep pockets. That is completely irrelevant in this decision as far as I'm concerned. I've never met the man. I never will meet the man. He's not, the owner of this doesn't have any importance to me. It's the planning, and I have followed this for, I was going to say months, but it's been 4 years, I guess. Describe for me the traffic demand plan, when that will be formulated, for lack of, I don't know what the term is, drafted. And
Certainly. If you would give me 1 second.
okay. And let me ask a question about it. So when will that be done? And in that plan, will that be a public document? Or is that something that you all just look at? Or what's the process on that?
So mitigation measure 4.17-2, yes, it is reviewed by the planning department. It's public in our record. It's not something we publish.
You don't have a hearing about it?
We don't have a hearing about it. And it looks at alternative modes and incentives such as, you know, paying people to do electric van pools for employees. It allows a website to allow you to research other modes. There's marketing. There's preferential carpool, van pool parking spaces. And, you know, those are the transportation demand to encourage people not to just drive their individual car.
So it's, the transportation demand program is really about employees coming and going. It's not about the trucks.
No.
So that's a different situation altogether, where they're required to use, and they're highly incentivized because it's the straightest line, right? They're required to use Houghton, Union, 99.
That's correct.
And the freeway system, okay.
That's correct.
You explained the Ag Preserve. I was going to ask you about that. Let me talk about the Air District for a minute. I gave you a slide or a piece of paper. I'd like you to put that up on the screen if you would. I didn't know it was going to be this. I was going to be able to use it. I just brought it today. But the reason I brought it is I've been going to the Air District now ever since I've been on the board, which is almost 12 years. And we have made, when I say we, I'm talking about the Air District itself, the 8 counties that comprise it, not even the total area of the 8 counties. But that slide that you see on the screen shows the progress that we have made as the communities combined in cleaning the air and the reductions in air pollution that have taken place since 1980. That graph only goes through 2023. I'm going to get you a new one. We are often told, and we may have the dirtiest air, but the air is significantly cleaner today than it was last year, than it certainly was 40 years ago. And it is through the collective efforts and payments of fees and fines by people in the district, many of whom live in Kern County. I'm talking tens of millions of dollars that has been generated throughout the district that has been plowed into projects that have made the air cleaner in the San Joaquin Valley Air District itself. We don't say that often enough. We only hear that the air is dirty and the air is getting cleaner constantly because we have an agency that's devoted to doing nothing but that. That said, I will make a best effort to see that that money that is generated is spent on projects in Kern County and in proximity to this plant. That said, some speakers today, you can't have it both ways, because sometimes I hear people say, and it's true, that we are, by the very nature of where we are at the southern end of the San Joaquin Valley, we get pollution from San Francisco and pollution that comes all the way down the valley. So we'll make the best effort to spend the money here that's generated here. But the argument often gets made that we need to spend the money everywhere in this district. It will benefit us in the southern San Joaquin Valley no matter where it's spent. So there was an attempt often, what I'm trying to say is, I don't think you can have it both ways. You've either got to say, no matter where you spend it in this district, it's beneficial, or you've got to say, you've got to spend it as close to these areas that generate the pollution as possible. You got to pick one and stick with it. I can deal with that, but you can't have it both ways. Thank you to the folks that showed up today to speak, all of you, whether you are in favor or against it, and I understand the gentlemen that are here that are going to work on this project. It'll put food on your table and it'll pay the bills, and that's important. I also understand the folks that live near it, that are going to experience some change to their neighborhood, and that's, for lack of a better term, it's scary. You don't know what it's going to, you think the worst, and it probably isn't going to be that, but you just don't know, and the unknown is not comfortable for anyone. It was also said that Amazon is not a good employer, and I don't want to comment about that. I've read things about Amazon, but we are not able to say, I learned this a long time ago, we can't say we don't want Amazon, or we don't want Target, or we don't want Walmart. We can say we don't want a warehouse greater than this size, or no taller than this, or we can talk about the characteristics of something that we want or don't want, but we can't pick a particular retailer or business and say we don't want them. That's called discrimination, and we're not able to do that. We have a motion by Supervisor Perez.
I need to read into the
And
record.
you have, so we have a motion on something that you're about to tell us we have a motion on.
Thank you.
Apparently.
Thank you, Supervisor Perez, through the
Okay,
chair.
we're looking for an appropriate motion,
With the
including your changes.
So the recommendation is to certify the environmental impact report, adopt CEQA sections 15091 findings of fact and 15093 statement of overriding considerations, adopt the mitigation monitoring reporting program, adopt resolution and recommended findings approving the amendment to the land use element of the Kern County Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan as requested, adopt resolution, recommended findings, and enact ordinance approving zone classification changes requested, adopt resolution and recommended findings approving the precise development plans subject to recommended conditions, adopt resolution and recommended findings approving conditional use permit 78, map 142, subject to recommended conditions, and conditional use permit 75, map 142, with staff recommended changes to condition 8, and adopt resolution and recommended findings approving agricultural exclusion from the boundaries of agricultural preserve number 10.
What she said.
So that's your motion?
So moved.
Okay, second.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
There's no oral.
Roll call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Supervisor Peters.
Aye.
Supervisor Flores.
Yes.
Supervisor Couch.
Yes.
Supervisor Perez.
Yes.
Motion carries four ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Scribner.
Thank you, guys. That ends item 3. Now that takes us over to, I think it's item 24. Am I right, Kathy? 24, 25, 26, and 27 are items that we're going to hear concurrently. Mr. Hill with General Services is going to do that, and then we're going to have to take our votes separately. Mr. Hill, take all the time you need.
Supervisor Couch and members of the board, thank you. I will be brief, but this again is a great series of projects we're bringing just to highlight the projects and to show the good work that we continue to do in our parks. The 4 projects that we're looking at are the Buena Vista Aquatic Recreation Area Water Wells Project, Roseman Park Restroom Replacement, Samlin Ballpark Improvements Parking Lot Replacement and Repair, and the Stramler Park Picnic Area. Just kind of accelerate through these. This graphic shows at Buena Vista the wells, the 6 wells that we're going to be rehabbing due to necessary repairs over the years. And it also shows 2 new wells that will be being drilled as well. This project is funded entirely with American Rescue Plan Act money. It is a $5.1 million construction estimate. All work must be phased so as not to reduce the production of the existing pumps. We have to maintain the level in the lake continuously throughout the year. And so we'll be taking this project in phases. If your board approves this project today, the bid opening will be in July, contract award in August, and we'll start working in September with completion in March. Our expectation is that this actually times really well because those are low evaporation and percolation years. So our equipment will be in good shape throughout that period of time. The second project is the Rosamond Park restroom improvement. This gives you an idea. These are our standard restrooms. It's a massive effort throughout our county to replace and rehab all of our restrooms that are in bad shape. This is a great project that will do just that. This is a CXT restroom type of, it's all concrete and very heavy fixture type. So they're really resistant to abuse, resistant. This is a $641,000 project, again, American Rescue Plan Act money completely. This does also provide new ADA accessible sidewalks required for the project as well. Again, the timing of all these are about the same. Bid opening in July, contract award in this case in September, and anticipated construction start in May of next year. That's due to lead times for the equipment and for the concrete building. The next project is really needed and has been wanted for a long time, so we're really glad to have American Rescue Plan Act money for the Sam Lynn Ballpark parking lot improvements. This graphic shows the extent. It's the entire parking lot and the dirt areas around it. Some basins, some collection basins, as well as rehabbing all of the parking, as well as providing ADA access. This construction estimate is $780,000. Again, American Rescue Plan Act money. This is the first phase of the work that we're doing at Sam Lynn Ballpark. The next phase, which will be coming to your board soon, will be improvements to the concession stand and the locker rooms and some of the other areas. But this is the first one we're bringing to the board. Another really needed project. Again, bid opening in July, contract award in August, and then construction start and end in September. It's a lot of money, but paving can go really quickly. So we don't anticipate it to take longer than a month to do that job. Next project is the Stramler Park picnic area and canopy project. This again, this is, I think we all know where Stramler Park is. It's a great project in District 3. This gives you kind of an isometric view of the project. It shows these are the long picnic table areas, and each of those will get a movable shade over the top of them to provide shade for the picnickers. There's also, you'll see to the right, 2 other shade structures. Those are over 2 concrete cornhole fields, I guess is what we'd call them. There's also a bocce ball court and a rehabbing the volleyball area, as well as a half-court basketball court that will also be striped for pickleball. So again, Supervisor Couch, you can go out there and play pickleball.
Sweet.
This project is estimated at $850,000. We do have an alternate bid for $105,000 on this project. We're seeing if prices come in well enough, we may be able to afford the alternate scope of work, which is installing LED lights on new poles at the Metro BMX bike track. That, again, is an alternate. It's subject to availability of the funds for the project, and we're hoping for, we're getting more and more competition and for our projects, so we're hoping for good competitive bids. Again, bid opening in July, contract award in August, and then the project will, construction start will be in September and continue through May. That really concludes the kind of the brief overview of those, of the projects before you. I would like to mention that we have these recently awarded projects. We come to this board for the plans and spec approval, and then we bid the jobs, and then we get them under contract. We don't come to the board twice, but recently the Lake Webb Boat Launching Facility Repair Project was awarded, and construction, I believe, is starting. Rosamond Skate Park, Boron Skate Park, and the Ford City Splash Pad are all contracted and either underway or soon to be underway. And I'd also like to take this just a brief minute to mention Michelle Burns-Lucet. She's back there on the left. Since she's come aboard, she's really helped us get these projects turned around and get them to bid and get them under construction, as well as Michelle's got a great team of our construction services folks, as well as a cadre of private architects, engineers. We've had to pool a lot of resources to get these projects underway. But as promised, as we've promised you for a couple of years now, as promised, these things are really coming to the fore. So that's the end of my prepared remarks. Again, our Adopt a Park plan, our program, we welcome any organization who would like to participate in that. So would recommend that you act on boards, on staff's recommendation.
Okay, items 24 and 25 are in District 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion on,
Public comment? Sorry.
is there anyone here that'd like to make a comment on this item?
I'm plugged in.
Getting to you.
Okay.
You're
Got it.
special.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Michelle, you shouldn't sit there. I thought you were Michael Turnipseed. Never lived that down. Okay, Perez, Supervisor Perez.
Thank
you're
you.
up.
I wanted to say about Michelle that the partnership that has made Kern County parks flourish, in particular the 5th District over the last couple of years, has really been largely driven by Michelle and her heart and the competency, the professionalism, she's just so extraordinary. And thank you for bringing that up. And I should have said something a long time ago, but I really appreciate you. My office is crazy about you. The community feels engaged, accepted, wanted, that they have a place because of the spirit by which you do what you do. And I mean that. And that's priceless. And I really thank you for that. And thank you for bringing it up, Jeff. Chair, I'll second that, and that's all. Thank you.
I don't know, did I make a motion?
Did you?
I think I did. Let's say
On
that,
item 24?
let's say that I made a motion on staff's recommendation on 24. And
And
Supervisor Perez
Supervisor
seconded.
Perez made the second?
So now you need to
Okay.
call for our votes.
I do. Supervisor Peters?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Yes.
Supervisor Couch?
Yes.
Supervisor Perez?
Yes.
Motion carries 4 ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Scribner. On to item 25.
Item 25, I will make the same motion on staff's recommendation, a special recognition of Michelle.
Second that.
Supervisor Peters?
Yes.
Supervisor Flores?
Yes.
Supervisor Couch?
Yes.
Supervisor Perez?
Here. Oops,
Motion
yes.
carries 4 ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Scribner.
Item 26 is in District 3.
Thank you. I'm very excited about this. I have one quick question.
Yeah.
You mentioned other facilities within Sam Lynn in addition to the parking lot, and I think you do the concession stand, some AC, some HVAC, press box, but there was a building that houses the irrigation equipment that's like really bad, dilapidated. It's probably dangerous even to walk in. Do you know if that's part of it too?
I don't I don't know specifically where you're talking about, but I don't believe that that is included in the, I think this is out by a tank.
It's left of third base if you're facing west. It's a building structure that houses the irrigation equipment.
On Samlin, in Samlin Ballpark.
Is that part of it?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Should there be any cost savings or alternate bids, can we maybe put that in there too for some TLC?
Michelle will look into that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll make a motion.
Second.
Please cast your votes, or please.
Supervisor Peters.
Yes.
Supervisor Flores.
Yes.
Supervisor Couch.
Yes.
Supervisor Perez.
Yes.
Motion carries, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Scrivener.
Item 27.
And then a motion on 27.
Second?
Supervisor Peters.
Yes.
Supervisor Flores.
Yes.
Supervisor Couch.
Yes.
Supervisor Perez.
Yes.
Motion carries, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Scrivener.
That takes us, 36 is withdrawn, takes us to the end of the agenda.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we need to adjourn to closed session? Okay, need a motion to adjourn to closed session?
So moved.
Without objection, we're adjourned.